Welcome back to the Art Coach Podcast. Today is episode 27, and on top of episode 27, it's also October 27th, which is my birthday. Today is my birthday. I'm turning 37, so 27th episode on the 27th of October, and I'm turning 37. Awesome. There's some weird number stuff happening there. If you're into numbers, figure out what that means and let me know. But today, I thought it's my birthday. I was playing drums earlier. I got this download to make this episode, and I figured I'll take my own advice here and act on the idea, right? I'm shortening the gap between idea and action. And that's really the big thing here. As artists, we need to really jump on our ideas. When we get an idea to talk about something, to show something, to make something, to create something, I want you to go and do it. I want you to go out and act on that as quickly as you possibly can. Now, the idea that I had in mind for my podcast episode today on the 27th, my 27th episode, is to talk about my birthday, right? My birthday is a very interesting thing because it's right next to Halloween. So it's always kind of been overshadowed in a way, but I've also used Halloween to make my birthday even more fun. Another thing that's really interesting about it is that it's also the same month that my mother passed away. And the reason that I want to talk about this today is because I want to bring forward some really cool ideas that came to me during this that I think that I could help other people by sharing these ideas. If you're still somebody who has their mother alive, or even if you've lost them already, maybe this might help you gain some clarity on what it is to have a birthday. For a long time, my birthday was, like most people, it's about them. It's my birthday. It's my birthday. Well, there's another thing that's involved in a birthday, and that's the mother. And that's the thing that we often forget. And now the reason I'm bringing this up is because, my mother passed in 2016 on October 13th. And 2.5 weeks later, it's my birthday. And on that birthday, one of my friends got me a sensory deprivation tank like coupon. So I went and laid in this thing, and I just decided to go on my birthday. I was like, I'm going to do it on my birthday. So I went to this place, and it was really calming. They did have me do a little meditation before I went in. And then I laid down in this, it's this really salty water, and you just float in this dark, like, capsule. There's no sound. There's no vision. You can't see anything. You can't hear anything. You're floating, so you feel weightless. Like, you don't feel anything on your body. Like, you feel wet, kind of. But anyways, after about 15 minutes of kind of fidgeting and getting into it, I started to have these pretty interesting visuals. I have a fairly imaginative mind, and in my mind, I can see things fairly well. And that's probably something that you guys can do too as artists. Some people don't have it, but some people do. Even if you're an artist and you can't see well in your imagination, that's fine. But in this space where you can't hear and you can't see, your mind's eye really gets strengthened. So I allowed my mind to just go where it was going, and I entered this meditation in the sensory deprivation tank. And since imagine, 2.5 weeks before I was with my mom as she passed. And then a couple days later, I buried her. And then now I'm back home, and I'm trying to get back to real life. And the mourning process is obviously still going on. And I'm in this tank. And obviously the first thing that starts coming to mind is my mom. And on my birthday, right? So there are these photos that I had seen throughout my whole life of the day that I was born, right? Maybe you have pictures of yourself when you were a baby, maybe in the hospital, right? Your mom has a picture of you, and it's like, oh yeah, that was me as a baby. You don't have a memory of it, but for some reason in your mind, you like have a memory of it because of the photos and the things that you've seen. Maybe there's a video even. And so your brain kind of constructs this like memory of the event as if you were in the position in first person, but in your mind, it's kind of third person. So I started to see these visions, and these visions were of my mother on my birthday giving birth to me. And for about 45 minutes this happened. I saw myself being born. I saw my mother holding me for the first time and looking down at me and being so overjoyed and thrilled and happy. Like the photos that I've seen of her in the hospital when I was a baby just born, she was always smiling. She was always very happy. So, and the love that she had for all of her kids was unimaginable. And it was just the purest and kindest and most unconditional love that anybody could ever express. So I had these visions of seeing my mother see me for the first time, and the love that she expressed and experienced in that moment, I felt it in that tank for the first time. It was this strange sensory deprivation tank hallucinatory experience. Now, mind you, I'll tell you right now, I was not under any influence of any drugs or anything. This was just purely in the tank with my strong imagination, having just experienced a very, powerful event, having lost my mother. Now, this went on, and of course, during, in the tank, I'm probably at this point crying. I'm not really sure if I'm tearing up or not, because you're in this water up to your face, is just floating. And so I see my mother for the first time holding me, looking at me with this joy. And I realize that my birthday isn't about me. My birthday isn't about, there's such the birthday is such a me thing. Like, give me gifts. Come celebrate me. Come celebrate. I didn't do anything to be born. I did nothing. I did zero. All I did was slide out, right? And my mother labored for hours and hours and hours. She held me in her body for 9 months, right? She went through all of that to give me life, so that I could be here expressing myself today. Now, the connection that I got to the love that a mother can give, and the experience of what motherhood is, and the experience of what a birthday is, ever since that day, ever since my birthday in 2016, my birthday has been different ever since, because I don't celebrate myself as much. On the day of my birthday, I really just give thanks and gratitude towards my mother for doing the things that she did to make me come to life. And also, the next 18, years up to my adulthood, but then also up until the moment when she was gone, she was encouraging. She was unconditionally loving and unconditionally supportive. If I wanted to be an artist, she was supportive. She wasn't one of those mothers who said, "You're not going to make a career out of that." She with all of her kids too, she was always there, kind of pushing us forward, making sure we were safe. She was kind of a worrywart in some ways. But the main thing here that I want to kind of push during this podcast episode is to explain that, maybe next time when it's your birthday or it's your friend's birthday, this is something that I do. When it's somebody that I know, and it's their birthday, I ask them, how's your mom doing? Have you talked to her today on your birthday? And it usually stirs something up, because it's really important to realize that your birthday it's a great day that you were born. And yes, okay, cool. Birthdays, the cake, it's just a cultural thing that we're like, it's all about me, but it's really, you should be showing so much gratitude towards the mother for this. So if you have your mom and she's in good standing with you, and you have a good relationship, and even if you don't, I'd say reach out to them and try to make the relationship better. A mother's love towards their child can not be explained by anything else. It can't be explained with words, with poetry, with anything. It's something that's outside the realm of language. So, take this story real quick. My mother's been gone for almost 9 years now, for over 9 years now. So, call her, tell her how you feel, tell her your dreams, tell her your ambitions, tell her what you want for your life, tell her the truth, be honest with her, tell her how you're really doing. Tell her what your fears are. Tell her what, just talk to her. Ask her about her. One of the things that I did on the last week of my mother's life was ask her about some time before I was alive. Like, what were things like? What did she do? Tell me a story about something that happened before I was alive, something that I would never know. And she would tell me. So maybe even ask your mom about, when she was 15 or 20, like what was life like? What did she do? What was her prom like? What was her high school like? Well, tell me a story about some drama that you went through, or tell me some celebratory thing that you went through, just ask them. Now, the reason I'm talking to you about this today, of course I'm going to try to relate this over to art in some way, but I want to continue this story on. Now, so 2016, she passes. 2016, my birthday, I go to the deprivation tank. I have this crazy hallucination. It was like a vision. It was so crisp and clear. I could see it. And it was just, I couldn't believe it. And so it was part of the mourning process. But years and years after that, I didn't actually fully heal and integrate my mother's passing until I went to a retreat with some really good guys in Austin. And it was a men's retreat, and it was about healing, right? It was for that purpose. And I had this really intimate and awesome conversation with one of my friends, and it was about one of the regrets that I had with my mother. And this is something that I had to, anytime that I thought about it, it would make me extremely sad. Like the emotions that would come up were just overly saturating and powerful, even just by thinking about it. And if I were to say it out loud, man, I would become I wouldn't be able to speak, right? I wouldn't even be able to get the words out. And so during that retreat, I was really able to actually express it out and tell people what it was and have it be reframed. And anyways, my really close friend, guy that I've known since I was like 13, helped me through this and actually just listened and held space for me while I told him the story of my biggest regret with my mother. And I'll share it with you now. So when my mother was passing, she was in the hospital, and I didn't know at the time, right? Obviously, you don't know. She only had like 3 days left, and I was with her, and I had just arrived to the hospital, and maybe it was like 3 or 4 days that I was there, and that was the end of it. Well, the first day that I got there, right, at the very end of the night, we had the whole day with her, and she saw her 4 kids together again. Like we're all over the United States now. We were in Vermont, we're in Oregon, we're in California, right? We're spread out. She's in Canada. So we're all spread out, and we all just, she calls us and says, it's time. You guys need to come. I need to see all of you together. We come in, we see her, we're with her, and the whole day she's telling us stories, she's laughing, we're playing her favorite songs, she's kind of, just slightly dancing in the hospital bed, very ill still, but giving us just her last little burst of energy. It was very beautiful. Now, what happens next is the thing that I held as a very powerful regret. Now, here's the thing. When you lose somebody that's really close to you, no matter what, your mind finds things to have regrets about. You didn't tell them this. You didn't say this. You didn't tell them how much you love them. You didn't get to just, forgive them for the thing that they did. Whatever it is, your mind will just find a thing and be like, oh, I didn't get to do the thing, right? And so again, I'll urge you now, if you have somebody, this is it, guys. Like memento mori, we have a limited amount of days. If you want to express yourself to somebody, if you want to tell them you love them, if you want to tell them that you forgive them, if you want to tell them you're mad at them for something, do it. Express yourself. Let it out. Let them know where you're at. Okay. And so she's in the hospital bed. And at the very end of the night, like we stayed with her all the way until like, 9:30, 10 p.m. And she's like, okay, I'm getting really tired now. It was really great seeing all of you. She expelled a lot of energy. She slept. She took some naps throughout the day, but it was time for us to go. And our uncle was like, yeah, you guys can come back to my house and you can sleep there. And a part of me was like, I don't want to go. Like a part of me said like, I don't feel like I should leave. Like I feel like I can stay here. I can stay in the hospital and sleep on this little chair. I want to be with my mom. She doesn't have very much much time left. But everybody was like, yeah, let's go back. It'll be nice. And my mom was like, yeah, go get some good rest. Go get some sleep in a nice, comfortable bed. Like she of course, because my mom was giving, she would sacrifice everything for us to make sure that we were good. That was her biggest thing, was like, I want to make sure you're safe and you're good and you're happy and you're comfortable. And so she said, no, yeah, go ahead. And there was this moment where I said, okay, even still though, it was gnawing in the back of my head, like, no, stay, like you should stay with her. And everybody was going, there's a good group of us. We were all hanging out with her all day. Uncles, all my sister, brother. And at the very end, I was walking out the hospital room and I looked back at her. And she looked at me and we made eye contact and she was smiling at me like, good. I'm glad you're going to go and be comfortable. I'm glad you're going to go and get some rest. I'm so happy that I saw you. But there was also this little bit of sadness and fear and like, don't leave me alone. Don't leave. Like I could sense it. Like I don't want to be alone. Like as soon as we left, the room would be empty and it was just her. And she had the rest of the night and she didn't know if she would make it through the night. She was very close to the end here. And she knew it. She knew that she didn't know if she would be there the next morning, but she didn't know how to tell that to us. And so she would say, go. But in her eyes, she said, stay. And I saw it and it kind of just, I saw the fear in her eyes and the scared, woman, the scared mother just saying, go, just be comfortable. And so I walked out the hospital and the whole way down the elevator, I remember just thinking, I should stay. And I just kept quiet for some reason. Because at this moment, this is 2016. This is before the art coach. This is before I really developed myself and became a more confident person. At the time I was still a very shy and timid person. I kind of stayed under the radar. As if you've listened to my other podcasts telling my true story, you'd understand what kind of person I was at that time. And maybe that influenced it, but I just, I felt like, okay, well, everyone's doing it. I'm just going to kind of stay with the group and and do what they do because they think it's okay. So I went, but there was still this gnawing thing. Anyways, so, we go and we sleep. We come back the next day, and my mom's in such a worse position than she was the day before. She's barely lucid. She's in and out of kind of awareness, and like she doesn't really know what's going on. The medications maybe were getting stronger, and it was kind of just that till the very end. Maybe 36 hours later, she was gone. Now, I just after she passed, what is there to do other to think of the things that you could have done, the things that you could have changed, the things that you could have done differently. And so that's what I lived in for a long time. And that moment of acknowledgement, looking into her eyes as I walked out the hospital room, I just saw it. And I knew that I should have done something. My conscience was telling me to do something, but I went with the group. I conformed. I did the thing that I thought I should do because everyone else was doing. And so this brought me now this brings me forward. Okay, like I said, I was at the retreat. I integrated this with a very good friend. Now I can tell you the story, and I'm not a bluthering fool, right? I'm just not sobbing right now. I can talk about it. And so we integrated all of that. And now it's part of my identity. And the things that I learned, this is where it gets into the art and the part of the expression of your life. Okay, being an expressive person, you're an artist, you're an expressive person. Okay, in that moment, I didn't express the truth that I knew in my own mind. And in that moment, I made eye contact with her, and it's almost like we created a contract. Our souls, our identities, our persons, me and her made it a contract, and it pushed me, let's say 6 years later into this retreat where I'm finally integrating it and realizing that what it was the hardest thing that had to happen to show me that what I should do is always tell the truth, is always be honest with myself and what my conscience tells me, and express myself the way that I think that I should in the moment. And so if I was the person that I am today, in that moment then, like if I could just teleport myself that I am now back to that moment, I would stay that night because I know what was right in my mind. And so the lesson here is to express, right? When your conscience tells you in the back of your mind, no, this isn't right. No, this isn't honest. No, this isn't true. This isn't me. This isn't what I should do. You follow that. You listen to the conscience. You listen to your soul. That's your soul talking to you. That's your higher version. That's your higher self communicating to you and saying, you need to act honestly here. And that's what this lesson was. And now fast forward again, 2 more years. And this is just this month, actually. Fast forward to October 2025, October 10th, right? So this is now 9 years after. My mom, this is 9 years, almost a 9-year anniversary. My mom passed on October 13th. I'm at a music festival, Joshua Tree Music Festival, with a really good group of friends. We're listening to music, we're talking, and I have this really good friend, and we start talking about this moment again, because I was like, it's interesting that we're here because my mom passed. This is the week that she passed. This is the week where we were in the hospital, like this day. And the last day of the festival is the day that she passed. And interestingly enough, the retreat that I went to the year before in Austin, it was on the week that she passed. It was on the 9th to the 13th, and the 13th was the last day of the retreat, and that's when I integrated everything. So now I'm fast forward again. Okay, now I'm at Joshua Tree Festival. I'm talking to my friend. I'm explaining to her what happened, and she helps me even more with it. She expresses to me that just what I said, like when that happened, that regret, that moment that you locked eyes and knew what you should do but then didn't, caused the regret, which now caused a change in not creating further regret in your life. And so there was a contract, a covenant created in the moment. And what it was that moment of eye contact was saying to me, not stay, was saying, Sean, express yourself. Be honest to who you are. Tell the truth. Be honest to how you feel. Express your conscience as it comes forward. Listen to your conscience. Listen to what you should do when you should do it, because it's the truth and it's honest to you. That's what the contract was. And that's what it made me do. That's what it changed me. So as an integrated person, you take the things that are horrible, the things that are tragic. My mother passing was tragic. I wish she was still alive, but she's not. So I have to integrate it into who I am. And this goes for you as well, if you're listening to this. If something happens, you must integrate it into who you are. And once you integrate, you take it in and you become the thing that it turns you into, right? Instead of, like I was before, thinking about it would make me tear up, make me sad, mournful, right? It would make me have very, very deep sadness, right? Really low emotions, right? That is a non-integrated point of view. When you've integrated, you can talk about it. It's part of you. It's not something you fear. It's something you look away from. It's not something you hide from. You don't play hide and seek with this thought anymore. You don't say, oh, I don't want to think about that. It's too scary. It's too mournful. It's too sad. No, it's part of you now. And it makes you a better person. And so what I'd say to anybody who has any type of trauma or tragic experience, what you do is you work through it in some way, whatever it is, therapy, with coach, with a retreat place like I did, with a bunch of friends. You just talk about it. You express out the energy that is held inside. So if you have a tragic moment and you think about it and it makes you have an emotional response, if it's been more than a year and it still gives you the same emotional response as if it was yesterday, then you haven't really worked on it yet. So what you need to do is voluntarily bring yourself to re-experience it and express out the energy vocally, physically, some way to somebody so that they can hold a little bit of the weight that you've been carrying. Because it is energy. The act of losing somebody, the experience of losing somebody, a tragic loss, is an energy. It's an energetic field where you need to integrate the energy and actually express it out in some way. So through the integration, now I've realized that being honest and expressing my conscience, expressing through my conscience, is the key to being to being an artist, honestly. If you can express yourself as honestly as possible from moment to moment, day to day, week to week, year to year, you won't have these types of regrets. You won't be the person who looks back at something and say, what should I have done differently? How could I have done differently? How could I have made this better? And so this Joshua Tree Music Festival, right? I'm having this conversation, this really deep conversation with my friend. I might have her on the podcast one day. We'll see. She's an amazing person. So we were talking about it, and she said that she explained it to me that moment wasn't for you to have a regret. It was for you. It was that moment of locking eyes with your mom. It was the moment that initiated the change in who you were and who you are, in the ability for yourself to express yourself, in your ability to become the art coach, in your ability to help other artists, to help other people heal, to help other people become better versions of themselves. That eye contact wasn't for pain and regret. It was for you to become the better version of yourself. That's what that covenant, that agreement was in that moment of eye contact. And though in the moment it felt like pain, it felt like regret, like anger, like mourning, like sadness, it's not until you wait and see what happens after the integration happens, you see what actually comes of it. Something much more beautiful, something much more integrated, something much more beneficial to the world and beneficial to yourself, to the family, to the community, and hopefully to the world. I just hope that the way that I see it is, if I'm telling you this story, right, I can share with you the thing that I went through, so that maybe, just maybe, you won't have to also go through that type of agreement with somebody who's passing. That type of, not an agreement, that type of like catalyzing experience of first initiating extreme pain and sadness into extreme growth. Instead, you can just hear my story, hopefully, and be like, you know what? I'm going to express myself more honestly now. I'm going to not be self-conscious. I'm not going to doubt myself. I'm going to say the joke. I'm going to make the painting. I'm going to apply to the gallery. I'm going to, make a website. I'm going to post my art on social media. I'm going to make a video like this. I'm going to make a podcast. I'm going to make a business, right? Do something that will that will be what you want it to do. I know this. I'm looking at this camera right now, but I'm looking at you. I'm looking at whoever's listening to this. I'm talking to you specifically. If you're listening to this, you know what your higher calling is. There's a thing in the back of your mind that's been saying, oh man, just one day I'll be able to do that thing. One day I'll be able to make that business. One day I'll be able to make that painting. One day I'll be able to, draw hands really well. One day I'll be able to just do whatever it is. There's a thing that you've just been just grabbing onto, and then you've been pushing it aside. You've been, I have to do this first. I have to get a perfect studio. I have to get more skill, more money, more. I have too many this. I have too many that. There's too many things weighing me down. Right? Your mind finds all this evidence for you to just not go for it, not to do it, not to try, because you're afraid. Right? You're afraid, and what happens? 5 years down the line, you're still in the same place. 10 years down the line, you're still in the same place. 28 years. I think that's how old I was when she passed. Yeah, something like that. It took me 28 years of life to realize that I should express myself honestly all the time. In any moment that I am, I should just be myself without fear, without doubt, without any kind of, experience of limitation to my expression. And that goes with my art, with the coaching that I do. It goes with the social media content that I create. So it goes with this podcast. I'm sharing this very intimate moment with you guys, and that's okay. I want you guys to know, because like I said, if you can gain something from this story, I want you to gain something from this story. Please. And so, and this is the thing here. There's probably things about this story that I don't even know yet, right? This is just 9 years down the road. What happened? It took me 6 years or 7 years just to figure out this, like the first healing part about, integrating this regret and being able to talk about it. Then it took another 1.5 or 2 years to have this new idea that moment wasn't for pain, it was for growth, right? It's like the story keeps unfolding itself, and it's like, let's wait a minute. Let's just see what happens. And so if you're in a really dark place or a really scary place, or something just terrible just happened, like you lost somebody, or somebody's ill, somebody's close to that, don't get too stuck in the sadness and the grief and the depression that it might cause, because I'm telling you, there's going to be something that there's a reason that it happened. There's a reason that your body, your soul, your story is experiencing this trauma and this tragic experience, so you can integrate it one day and become more for it. And now look, that happened to me. It was very hard in the moment, but now I'm doing this. I'm, like I said, just the way that it comes back around, and it connects back to who I am now. It's like, I wish my mother was still alive, obviously, but because the fact is that she's not, I must show gratitude. I must show gratitude to the experience that I went through because of who I am now. Right? And that's a weird thing to say. Oh, you're grateful your mom is gone? That doesn't make sense. No. I'm grateful for what it taught me, because it had to. Like what's the alternative? I'm angry, upset, depressed, nihilistic, right? What's the opposite of gratitude towards a thing that happens to you? And so this is what happens, guys. If you have a thing that happened to you that's tragic, that's sad, a friend that died, it's something, the integration process is the most important part, because otherwise you just hold on to a scar. You just hold on to a wound forever. And so if you heal the wound, guess what? You become a better person. I have to show gratitude for it, because I'm in a position where I'm very happy with what's going on. Now, if I were to reflect back on the moments, the years after, like let's say the week after, of course, I wasn't happy with what's going on, because it's too soon. So allow yourself to see that there's a time horizon here that you need to look out at, and see that there's going to be a change eventually in the way that you see what happened, and the way that you understand what it meant for your life and for who you are and who you're going to become. Because who you are is not a static thing. It is never static. You are never the same from day to day. We don't see the gradual change from day to day, but you are a different person every day. Especially over years and decades. I mean, a decade ago, you are not the same person. So yeah, I just really hope that story helped somebody out there listening to it. And I want you to, the main thing here, like I said, is to just express yourself, right? So the very hardest thing was me to express myself in a moment where I knew I should do something, but I didn't. And that taught me that I should do it in the smallest moment too. I should do it in the most mundane thing as well. I should express myself honestly and freely and the most I possibly can in every scenario that I possibly can, right? And it's something that I'm continuously working on. So if you're for some reason in that position where you're not, I want you to. I want you to express yourself honestly. And if your conscience is telling you to do something, then do it. Okay? I think that's probably all I got for you today. I could go deeper into some of this stuff, but I think that's good. This is another kind of like maybe a diary entry for my podcast rather than an actual, this is what to do as an artist, right? It's not as clear cut for artists how it's going to help you, but I think that just being honest with you guys here on my birthday, on the day that I experienced this insane visionary experience, like just I can't explain to you how crystal clear that was in the sensory deprivation tank. It was unlike anything I've ever experienced. And then again at the retreat, and then at the Joshua Tree Music Festival, right? It was always on the anniversary. And now again, here I am, 9 years later on my birthday, talking to you guys about it, integrating more for myself, and hopefully helping you guys by sharing a little bit more about myself and, just what happens in the world. This is it, guys. This is the world. Everybody will go through some kind of tragedy in their life. It is inevitable. And that's not something to be fearful of in your life. It means that you must cherish everything in your life, right? You must cherish the people that are in your life. You must cherish the moments that you have with them. Whether they're good or bad, or you have an argument with somebody, it doesn't matter. You need to get back with them and say, hey, I'm sorry. Hey, let's get back. Let's get to where we were before. Let's make this work. Especially if they're somebody like a family, like a mother or a brother or a sister or something, right? Make the opportunity come up where you can make things better. Because the regrets afterwards, if they ever pass, it's messed up. So, and not only that, I bring this up a lot, memento mori, right? You must remember that you will die. And not only that, I talked about it in the Pieta episode. I'll put it up here on the YouTube clip of this. If you haven't listened to that, it's episode 25. It talks about the mother again. And so if memento mori is part of existence. And as an artist, that's one of the most important topics that artists have ever talked about. Like, you should be fascinated by this. Like, think about it. You're an artist and you're avoiding the idea of death. No, death is an integral part of life. And so a large part of the ideas that I come up with in the psychology that I study and everything that I work towards is based on the idea that one day we'll be gone, because it makes it more valuable. If we lived forever, we wouldn't do anything. We would just lay around because there would be no point, because we could just do it tomorrow. But we can't just do it tomorrow because we don't know if tomorrow will ever actually happen. We don't know if tomorrow will come for us, right? A fucking plane could land in my house right now and take us all out. We don't know. And so nothing's promised, but because of that, it makes everything so much more valuable. Every moment, right? Don't waste your time on frivolous crap. Don't waste your time on partying and drinking and, porn and Netflix and scrolling and all these things that the culture tells you that you should do because you're part of the culture, and all these culture wars and nonsense you hear on the news about all the arguments that's happening between all the groups. Like, if you're a political activist, go for it. But if you're getting bogged down and pulled down by the things that are happening in the world, then you need to let that shit go. And you need to express yourself and live your life, right? So don't just, take it. Life is amazing, even if you have it hard. I've had it hard. When I was a kid, I was eating out of trash cans with my mom, right? We would go behind the grocery store and look for the bread that they were throwing away that was expired and pick it out of the trash can because we didn't have any money for food. Okay, I've had it hard before. I'm not saying that I'm not privileged. I am, but memento mori, guys. Memento mori. Life is precious. Every moment is precious. Every memory is precious. Every experience you have with your friend is precious. Every painting you make is precious. Everything you do, it might be the last. And so act out freely. Don't let anybody tell you that you're doing it wrong. Don't let anybody tell you not to do something that you want to do. Don't let anybody tell you that your dream isn't good enough, or it won't make you money, or it won't get you financial stability, and it won't get you this or that. It won't go viral. It won't get you your sales. If you want to do something, you do it, and you see if it fails or not. If you want to take a class, you go take a class. If you want to become an artist, you become an artist. If that's really your passion, you do it. Because you're not promised anything, right? And you got to work for it. So take this, guys. Take this little advice. Do it. Go make the thing. Go reduce. Just like I started this podcast out, reduce the time between ideation and action. Like reduce the time. The idea comes up, you act on it. The joke in your mind comes up at the party, you say it. Right? Don't you go to a club, go dance, right? If you have a DJ, go dance, right? You go to a festival, go dance, go express yourself, right? Be the jokester, be the guy, be the person that makes people laugh, be the person that expresses themselves freely. Don't allow these self-conscious thoughts that the world tells you to have into your life. I can't tell you how many experiences I've had. I've talked to so many artists where the thing that holds them back is their own mind, right? The gatekeeper is their mind. I'm not good enough. I'm not going to make it as an artist. There's too many walls in the way. There's too many gatekeepers. And it's like, you're gatekeeping yourself. It's all about who you know, right? The algorithm hates me, right? There's so many things that people will say. No. You have utter control, and you have complete autonomy and agency over yourself, your choices, the things you want to do in your life, the things that you don't want to do. Follow the truth. Follow the thing that you want. Okay? Express yourself freely from moment to moment, day to day, and act as though you know that your life will one day be gone. And so will all of your family members, all your friends. Cherish them. Okay? There's an amazing story, and it's just a story of being prepared. Be prepared for the hard times. And that doesn't mean be financially prepared. It means be the person who's strong enough to handle it. Right? When something happens, when you get into a car accident and your car's totaled, when you lose your job, when you get laid off, don't crumble. Don't fall apart from it. Be strong. Be the person that says, this is supposed to happen, because it did. If it happened, it was supposed to happen. If someone rear ends you and your car gets totaled, it was supposed to happen. You left at the very precise moment where it would happen. If you left it 3 seconds before, you probably would have missed each other. Now, if you woke up 5 minutes later that day, you would have missed each other. If something happens, it was meant to happen. There's no preventing those things. Things that are out of your control are out of your control. And if they happened to you out of your control, they were meant to happen. Okay? And so you take that and you integrate it, and you realize that that's how the world works. And when things happen, you say, I'm the person that can handle this, because it was meant to happen to me. And so, you get rejected from an art show you really wanted to get to, or you don't make the sale at the art show that you got into, right? It wasn't supposed to happen yet. You're not ready. You need more work. Get to work. Do it. Become a professional in your craft. Become the best in your craft, right? Get rid of the things that are wasting your time. Ask yourself this question. I'll end it here. Ask yourself this question every day. What is one thing that I could stop doing today that I know I should stop doing that would make my life better? You answer that, your life's going to get a lot better. And then, as always, you go out there and you express yourself. You go out there and you create.